Hey everyone, coupled with today's shorter Druid video, I decided to upload another really short video about the changes made, yet again, to Maiven's Sphere of Protection. So in build 26 and previous, Maiven's Sphere functioned similar to Mir Viracti's. You flipped it on, and it did some okay damage absorption. I think it was something like 20%, 22%. It was a low amount of damage absorption for a long duration. So it was very similar to Mirror, but it was more of like Mirror's more of an oh poopy button, and you press it and you get full damage absorption and you run away. And then Maiven's Sphere was you pop it if you have to like deal with lots of ranged guys, or you're fighting a boss and you need protection over a long period of time. And you sort of exchange some damage for that protection. In build 27, they changed Maiven's Sphere to be a passive, well, an activated passive, a toggle passive ability. You know, like how Iskander's Elemental Exchange, or you know, Veil of Shadow. I wanted to call it Nice Chill. Or Veil of Shadow works, where you turn it on and it provides this bonus the entire time. And what they did initially was they gave it damage absorption that increases per level. They had it with you took negative 25% total damage, and that decreased per level. And then there was a conversion of your elemental damage to physical damage. And then you got, you know, projectile avoidance per level as well. So, all of that was working pretty fine. But I think the conversion wasn't working properly. So I think they just dropped it all together with the latest hotfix to make the new Maiven Sphere Protection. And the new Maiven Sphere Protection provides the damage absorption per level, has just a flat 25% total damage reduction, has a casting speed penalty now, which is reduced per level, and then increases your chance to avoid projectiles per level. I actually like this change a lot more, even though this guy's a casting speed build, because if we turn it off, if we turn Maiven's Sphere off, and we sit here and cast, we can actually see we're casting really, really quickly. So that's the casting speed, basically what it was before, the 196 casting speed. We flip this on, and we lose the tiniest amount of casting speed, and it preserves, more or less, our elemental damage this time. So now when we cast, it's like, yeah, we're noticeably slower, but not that much noticeably slower. And because our elemental damage is not altered at all with this Panetti's build, we can just we will deal more or less the full damage we were dealing before. Now the thing about the total damage loss is, I don't have my defenses up. Okay. The thing about the total damage loss isn't so much you lose 25% of your damage. And the big damage formula that the game uses, you're only in fact losing a tiny bit of damage. And if we look at our damage loss on Panetti's, it's like 100 damage per missile. It is absolutely negligible damage loss. And yeah, it's just great. It operates absolutely great this way. So we're gonna do a quick switch over to the Aether character. So just sheet-wise on the Aether character, we also lose negligible damage. You will see that the sheet DPS for the Aether, which we could switch to real quick here, the sheet DPS looks like it takes a huge hit, but in reality, that's not a very huge hit. And I should note, on the Aether guy, I'm actually using a lower Maiven Sphere to get 20% damage absorption, because the 14% casting speed is basically irrelevant for this ability. All that means is he turns it slower and he shoots it a little slower. And I think actually, no wait, and actually the damage procs are a little slower as well. So the new Maiven Sphere is very excellent with with this guy in particular. And what's funny is before, when it was the elemental damage loss, that didn't actually affect the Aether Ray guy in the slightest. He really was not affected by that damage loss at all. I don't... Now, I'm going to note, I don't actually know if the conversion just wasn't working, and that's one of the reasons they switched it, or if it was too big a damage loss for certain builds. Because let's face it, like if you are dedicated to using a... using like cold or something, and you take an elemental damage hit like that, it could be a lot of damage. Or if you're using, you know, Panetti's, you could actually lose a lot of damage on that. But yeah, I think for the Aether guy especially, the damage loss was minimal at best. At worst, I should say. And finally that thing's dead. Now the one thing that they did change about the Aether Ray is technically they nerfed it. But it's more like this is what it was supposed to be when Build 27 first came out. That was quite the hefty amount of poison I took right there. So the Aether Ray is actually a little weaker than it initially was in Build 27. But it's fine. They kept the crit damage on the beam itself, and then put it on disintegration, so you're double dipping the crit damage you got. But yeah, that's technically not what it's supposed to do. So I don't really consider that a nerf. I consider that more of a correction. I mean, I'm sad that I don't get the massive, like, the stupid massive crits I got before, but it's like, that's irrelevant, because the crits are, like, just over damage at this point. So I am gonna note something about Arcane Will. Arcane Will has also been changed. Oh, that's a stump. Oh, my cursor made a glow when I moused over it. Shoot it with lasers. So Arcane Will is another thing that I think in the long run might be a huge advantage to put points into, because when your health drops below 70%, you get a huge total damage bonus. And I mean, it's total damage, so like I mentioned with the actual Maiven Sphere total damage loss being, you know, almost irrelevant. the total damage you get on Arcane Will, if you put a lot of points into it, you can actually get something like 150%. So you can actually get a lot of damage. And that might actually be worth doing in the future, because it's also very easy to just let enemies hit you a little bit, and then you pop, you know, your mirror, and you know you have a big damage bonus. Ow. You have a big damage bonus because of the total damage, and you get to have that big damage bonus for 3 seconds and be safe. They also upped the damage in the first hotfix for Build 27 of all of the enemies in Veteran, and I think they tweaked it... Oh, hello. I think they tweaked it so it actually went down a bit. Encanters. I've never seen that prefix. Huh. I mean, I wouldn't use that because it's... Oh no, it's one-handed. But, it's basically the same ability that Soulflare gets. Interesting. Maybe that's... Oh, that might be a gun-only prefix. That's why I don't notice it. That's why I don't know it. The crafting in this game and the item droppage has actually gotten smarter in this patch as well. So go crazy with crafting now because it's actually really worth it. I mean, unless you've already... I was like, that's a stump. Let me click the stump. I want to touch the stump. So go crazy with crafting because you actually get a lot of crazy good stuff. Especially on crafter weapons. Crafter weapons, caster weapons. The caster weapons. So if you go, and I can actually go back to town and show this. If you go to like make an Aether implement, it's gonna be smarter in giving you Aether related prefixes and suffixes. To the point where you can actually get some pretty heinous shit going on. But I mean, the problem is with the weapons, I got an immaterial edge, and that's pretty much the best weapon for an Aether Ray guy. But if we wander up to our smuggler, I can show. I made these today. I made an Eldritch Ritual Wand of the Arcane Blaze, and that's just a ton of the percentages I'd like to see. But it's actually not a huge difference right now between what Immaterial Edge provides and what that provides. And then, you know, Enchanter's Ritual Scepter of Insanity. And I think if I could get I think it's Aether Fire, an Aether Fire weapon of Insanity, I'd go for that. And it would be an actual switch. I don't think I have anything Aether Fire. It's more Arcane Blaze. But yeah, I would really want to see that and see if it works right. But I've used up most of my scrap crafting. Yeah, Infernal Ritual Wand of the Aether. That's a ton of Aether damage, but it's not enough for me to give up +1 all skills, because you actually do give up you give up a lot for that, and I don't necessarily know that it's worth it. So anyways, that's been a short video on what Maiven's Sphere is now, amongst a few other things. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.